Hi, in this video, we are going to talk about the imaginary number. So an imaginary number is a real number multiplied by the imaginary unit I. What does the imaginary number do? It helps us solve expressions like this, where 4 plus x squared is equal to 0. So x squared is equal to -4, and then we take square root of both terms, and then what we see is that we're taking the square root of a negative number. So here we can use the imaginary unit I to solve for x. So x is equal to square root of 4i, which is equal to 2i. So here x is equal to 2i. So what does the I mean here? I is equal to square root of -1. So anything to the power of 0 gives us 1. So I to the power of 0 is 1. And as we know from the previous example, that I to the power of 1 is equal to square root of -1. I to the power of 2 is equal to square root -1 times square root -1 gives us -1. I to the power of 3 is equal to I to the power of 2 times I, which is equal to -1 times I. So -1 square root of 2 is -1, and I is equal to -I. So I to the power of 3 is -I. I to the power of 4 is equal to I squared times I squared, which is also equal to -1 times -1 is equal to 1. So I to the power of 4 is 1. And as you can see, we're in a cycle now. So I to the power of 0 is equal to I to the power of 4, which is 1. So now we can find, by using a rule, we can find the value of I of our as large exponent as 105. So how we can do that, and what's the rule? So the rule is, when we are given an exponent, which is, for example, we are given 48 over here, we divide that number by 4. So we need to solve for I to the power of 48. So we divide our exponent by 4. We know it's 4, 12, 0. So our remainder is 0, which means I 48 is equal to I 0, which is equal to 1. You see, as you can see, the remainder was 0. So I to the power of 48 is same as I to the power of 0, which gives us 1. Now over here, so here 1 is the answer. Now I to 63. So divide 63 by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, 23. 4, 5 is 23. Now we can see the remainder is 3. So I'm just going to write it over here. I 63 is equal to I 3, which is equal to I to the power of 3 was -I. So this is the answer. Now solve for I to the power of 105. What we do is divide 105 by 4. So 4 2 is 8, 25. 4 6 is 24, 1. Now we can see our remainder is 1. So I to the power of 105 is same as I to the power of 1, which is equal to square root of -1, right here. So this is how we solve for the larger exponent of I. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching.